So this is a very boring one, right? It's just our house, supposedly. But we can make it a little more interesting. You see this little icon on the top right. When I click on this, I get choices. I have defaults on topographic map, satellite, and a terrain. So if I select the satellite and now remove this, all of a sudden I see a whole lot more of interesting stuff. And I can zoom in, and I think you kind of sort of see our house. You can also, if I click again on that icon here, there's a bunch of options. By default, it shows with the blue circumference that it shows traffic light, that is traffic information. But I could also look at Street View, which we don't have out here because they're not recorded, but we'll take a look in a minute. Or I can look at bike rides, for example. I have to zoom out to see those bike rides, I think. Yeah, it's hard to see. You see this green dotted line? Obviously, we all know what that is. It's the Georgian Triad. And you can go into other parts and see where there are official streets. All right.
Explore nearby.
Yeah, you can do that, and then it'll give you all sorts of attractions.
So how did you get onto your bike ride?
Okay, again, this guy up here. This one here, right? Let me make sure you see it. Looks like a diamond. Well, when you click on it, you'll get choices.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's made for or is it brand new?
I don't know a name.
I might even get a triangle.
Do you want to see?
No.
Yes, you can see it up there.
Okay. So one of the things Google is very good at is finding places. And look what I already searched. Clarence Lake Parking. So it's going to find it up for us. Okay, let me just close this a little bit. And maybe go sideways so you see a bigger map. So this is the site of tomorrow's kayaking and canoeing outing. Now, this looks from above, okay, lots of trees and there's some water. But luckily, we also have what is called a street view. So now I'm going to click on that. Maybe I'll do it upside. Makes it easier for me. It's not just a picture of a road. Now I can move around 360 degrees and check the whole thing out. Ah, there's already a border. Now I have no idea how do I get in. You see these little arrows. So when I click on this, I move forward 1, 2, 3 times. And now look what I can see. That's the boat ramp, right? Another little thing is another icon, 2 arrows pointing at each other. When I click on that, we now have 2 pictures, the street view and then the view from the top. And that is very handy because I have no idea which way I'm facing at the moment. Do I face south, north? Where is this? Look at this arrow here in the blue circle. When I turn my view up there, it points me where I'm looking at. So tomorrow, when we get there, I know that the ramp is on the northern side of that road.
Gretchen,
Yes.
when I clicked on Bell Lake Parking Search, that is what I got, which is an aerial view. And when I click on Street View,
Well, you haven't found it?
when I click on Street View, it doesn't come up. I put in Bell Lake Parking.
Yeah,
Enter.
what it does here, when you click on this icon, it shows you all the roads that actually have pictures for street. I don't know why you can't zoom in.
No, I don't know either.
You need to zoom in on this thing and then pick the right street for,
Zoom.
there you go. Zoom in all the way. And then when you,
Yeah.
anyway, so this is, I thought it's very neat that we can visit a place without having to go there. So next time you want to scout out new places, you don't have to drive there.
This is great.
Yeah. We did this looking for houses. I wanted to see what was beside, like how close were the neighbors, what did the street really look like? Because that was a perfect view of what they take a picture of that I used to see.
Ah,
Let's see.
so where did you get your arrows? I know I'm.
Yeah, you should have them. Maybe you need to touch them a little bit. Oh, actually, in your case, I don't see that.
Yes.
But it's not.
No, no. That's right to Apple and make sure they get it right. Oh, no, you managed to move anyway without the arrows.
It's actually.
All right.
it's branches.
Something else, and I'm going to click on this, it's directions. So now that I'm happy to know where the place is and where to go, I ask this to give me a route. It gives me the most fuel efficient one, and it takes 33 minutes. I can select that, or I can say, no, I want to go via waterfalls. So I clicked on one of the gray parts, and it selected that instead. And then when I'm happy, yeah, that is the route I'm going to take. I'm going to click on the start button. And now I have turn-by-turn instructions. I have this icon here at the moment is muted, means I don't get any voice telling me where to go. There's 3 settings. This one says it will give me turn-by-turn verbal instructions. Right on cue. And the second one is alerts only. So if, for example, there's a traffic incident and it would say you need to be rerouted, it would tell me. Or you can just mute it all the time. This works also extremely nicely in the car that has an equivalent software called CarPlay. Because I just put this phone in my pocket, I start my car, and it will have the instructions already loaded.
Why did you get directions? I'm not getting that. Icon.
Let's close this. Let's, no, I saw it. There we go.
I can't get past this one.
So now, up a bit.
Oh, okay.
So that, yeah, there's a lot of windows up and down sliding. And it looks to me like there's also different versions.
I can't get it either.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. it's in- most cars- most cars have it. Okay, the question about the Android is, I'm not sure if you don't have people. It works with Bluetooth. But I'm not 100% sure.
But
Some have an Android
here now you
phone,
have the blue
but
icon
I'm
to
not
give you the direction. I think it's the same
sure.
thing.
Where you could, I could try to think this is the car.
You don't have that.
Yeah, you are the same. Pokemon, yeah.
Yeah.
So now that,
This is good. That's like,
that won't give the link, yes.
Yeah.
It looks like we have to go through the river stretch.
Yeah.
to get
So, yeah, that's right.
We can do that.
For me, it's goodness. Yes.
It's true.
Yeah.
Then how did you get the voice? Not the stuff.
I find it more-
There's this icon here.
We're traveling.
Well, once you have clicked on start. Yep.
The interesting thing is,
This one.
So you have select
the
the
satellite.
long way.
And it would say like, turn back, and you'll turn back signal.
Seems to already be constructed.
Yeah. Yeah. Then mark the lot line.
Oh, gee, that's what I mean, but.
Yeah, we drive across, to Houston or
You
to
may want
Utah.
to
And
do
we
this,
live
but
with
think
this
about it,
like
it may
roads
use
just
time.
like our road,
I
because
don't know how
where
good
you're
your battery
starting off,
is at the
all
moment.
this is good. Yeah, they're
So,
telling me,
Yeah.
now that's huge.
And this is the one for it.
The interesting thing is, I'm just on this one here, it actually gives the house number.
yes, it does. and
I didn't
sometimes
realize
wrong.
that, so I'm looking at my house,
Yeah.
and I couldn't figure, it's so blurry, I couldn't really figure it out. But then it shows the house number. But I'm not getting all the icons that you had, I don't know why.
And then I paid for $100.
So I don't know if you've noticed, while I move around, the display on my phone moves with it. So when you are somewhere, in particular useful in the city, like New York, and you don't know which way to turn, it's hard to get your bearings, you put your phone in front of you, and it shows you the direction in which you need to go.
It'd also be helpful if you're hiking in the woods.
Yes.
Well, I kind of almost got lost, but I could identify with it. It registered where my car was.
Yeah,
So I was able to kind of figure it out
excellent.
to find my car. But it's similar to that too. like
Very
we're
good.
hiking to
Yeah,
where I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is helpful when you're hiking as well.
Yeah.
so one of the disadvantages of any map is when you are on the road, not in a house like this, all the data, the satellite images, the street lines are loaded over the internet with your data plan. Not everybody has a good data plan. So Google has a way to load all of the data so that you can use it offline. Meaning you load it on here at the house, then you turn off data roaming, and you have still an up-to-date map and can do out there. The way to do this is, so this is the default map, and where is this? Eileen, you finally met us. All right. Sorry, no, they came on a little snippety. Sorry about that.
That's okay, but it doesn't come in, it doesn't do that on the laptop.
We'll
It does
fix-
it on the phone, but not the
we'll
laptop.
fix it.
Phone, I knew it did.
So to get to this, you see my beautiful face in the top right corner. When you click on it, you will have your face or your icon, right? Not mine, I hope. There's a bunch of options, and one of them is called offline maps. So I click on this, and here it gives me two offline maps that I already created. One is from around here, and the other one from southern Germany, where we just went on vacation. I wanted to be sure when we drive that I didn't need internet connection in the car. And to add, there's this thing here. It says select your own map. You click on it, and now you can zoom in and out. Let's say here the whole. I'll take the Bruce Peninsula, and then I would hit the download button, and it takes a while to download. It can be hundreds of megabytes big, so depending on how good your Wi-Fi is, 5 minutes or so, and then you have the data on your phone. And it will keep it there, and I forgot what the cancel. The default is you can see the timestamp, so it keeps it for a year. And you can if I were to update this, I can get the latest information. Streets and satellite images will not change, but restaurants and
Traffic.
no, well, your traffic you can't download that yet. That needs to be real time.
It's showing how you walk.
Absolutely.
From this point,
So, so this might be actually here. Oh, by the way, this icon here, I just clicked it, homes in on where I am. It knows where I am because of the GPS system that we have on the phone. So I click on it and then it says that, okay, that's where I am. Up here, you should have an icon, maybe it says M in your case. I put a little face in it so that I have multiple accounts. And as soon as I click it, I get all of these options. And we were looking at the option offline maps.
And how do you get there from here?
Yeah, I saw it.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Where
So
are
they
we?
would need to go back through in the menu about the quick directions.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go back. Yeah.
Well, this would be your icon. Yeah. It looks like a ship project, right? So you.
Sure, there's a person at the top.
So you don't see your person at the top.
I'm still not getting it.
You're not saying
Okay,
it.
so look. Do you have that? So I think
All of this works if you are signed into a Google. It's Google software.
So the Google Maps won't do anything from here inside.
Correct. You need to sign into this.
Okay.
Maybe that was.
Okay, that's why I'm not getting.
So you have to be signed in.
so how do we
Doesn't
do
it
that?
sign
Automatically? If you're
It does if you use Google all the time, but not everybody has.
Correct. If you log into one Google app like Google Mail, it will already have you signed.
So-
If you use one of it.
What I get confused is I have two maps here.
Yeah.
Google Maps is this one and this one I think is Apple Maps.
Correct.
That goes in all the time. I have to, if I just, I don't know. I use.
That's the one I put on.
That was my, yeah, that was my problem before when I couldn't get in, I was on Apple Maps, so
Is
it
that the
closed it.
one?
Yeah.
And then I opened the other one, because I remembered from our trip to Quebec that we had two different.
Correct. So it is confusing.
Yeah.
I talk about the Google products because unlike the Apple products, it work on more than just an iPhone.
I understand that, it's just that's what's a little bit.
That is a block, yeah.
Okay, it has three.
Can I sign into Google?
If you have an account.
We had different roads, we didn't know.
But you see,
What
I
is your
have-
email address? Something at gmail.com. That's your email account.
Okay.
So-
How do I get there to sign in?
It prompts you, right?
Yeah, you want to take it on.
Yeah.
They kind of what you want.
But you see, mine is not working on the
So,
laptop, it works on here.
There's
That works
actually
fine.
a site
Everything's working.
that I can tell you whether
Everything I needed.
north is the way
This
you're
is-
looking,
Uh-huh.
or whether.
But it
it's,
doesn't do it on the other. I'll try it again. I'm not the iPad, the laptop.
It's maybe a little easier to control than start for one.
That's okay. I just don't want to run down all my batteries.
All right, there was some other things that we
Oh,
can,
Mark, sorry, how do you change it from the way you're going to Alice North Bay now?
with directions.
You have to do it with the directions, so.
This is, at the moment, the map is always north up.
Yeah.
You can't change that, but if I ask for directions, let's say back here to this guy. Well, I can't find it.
Probably because you asked for bike path.
That could be. Directions.
Yeah, you said
Oh,
train.
I use public transportation. Okay, that's not a very long trip. But the idea is the same. So if I now go start, you can see how it tries to orient my way, the way I look. Look at this guy down here. If I were to do this now, I am in a view that is north locked.
You see the little compass arrow showing the red part.
Right.
Bottom.
If I tilt it, you see that compass also tilt, but I just click on it again, and it automatically realigns with north.
that same notification.
All right. What else did I want to show you? Okay, same where we found the offline maps, there's something called location shares. Now, this is something that some people find weird, that our family has each other available. So like the first lady up here is our daughter. She shares her location with us. She hasn't had the phone out of, I think this is where she works, somewhere in Utah. And the same thing with Heather's parents. They live down here in Chatham. So actually, her father loves this feature. When we are on the road, he calls in or texts or whatnot, give us all the ins and outs of what to avoid. Which
We are, we take this interstate.
You must be checking on this every 5 minutes or so. It's really cute. And
Well, cute, but I heard somebody walking there mention multiple girlfriends.
yeah,
Consider the use of that.
which, yeah, we joke, but if you are doing something, or want to do something when you do it, never bring your phone. Okay? If you don't want to be associated to being at a certain place and a certain time, even if you turn this thing off, it will know where you are, and they can subpoena the information and then bring the wrath of the Lord.
So that applies to your Apple Watch too.
Yeah,
You have to get the permission, like our son, I hope you'd have to get his.
Yeah,
permission.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You basically request access, and then the other party has to say yes.
But our daughter wanted us to have it. She was riding her bike, she had an accident and she wasn't able to call. And we couldn't figure out how to find her, but luckily that we had her last direction on there and you went and searched and you found her. And ever after that, she said, you know what, this is just handy. You know, when people are on your way to it, it's good to keep an eye on when they arrive, things like that. But she actually said, I want you to know where I am. And so, yeah, and so it just kind of went on from there.
Not to divert the conversation much, but it's that kind of feature that's not just in Google Maps, but Tim Hortons is under sale right now.
Oh, for the
Because
traffic.
they've got their Tim Hortons app. They know where every customer that's had the app and made a purchase, what they paid with, what they bought, where they are, where they frequent the most stores, the closing stores as a result of all the what they call metadata they're collecting. And yeah, a lot of people, including myself, just deleted the app and cleared that out because they didn't specify that they could be sharing that with third parties. So that's why.
You can share with them. I don't want to share that.
Oh, yeah. I don't mind Google so much because they're so massive, everybody's keeping a tight eye on them.
Yeah, but it's a valid concern.
Yep.
As the old saying goes, if you don't pay for something and you don't know what the product is, then you are the one. Sure.
Yeah.
Right? So.
But it is.
Oh, that's good.
it was really good, like when our kids were traveling across the country, it was nice to know he's traveling. Because my son used to get on his phone, which is phone, he's a Tesla,
So.
and
yeah,
he
so-
controls the phone from the car from his phone.
Yeah.
So his brother was driving up, and he was the one that was, like, he had to start the car, so if David wanted to stop for coffee, he had to turn the car off on his phone, turn it back on again, he could
A
track.
lot of
He
trust
had
in that one.
He had the speed lock, he could go faster than a certain speed, oh yeah, yeah, it's unbelievable what you can do.
Our son came home from Turkey, we could track where he's in Turkey.
Yeah.
Presumably.
If he wants.
Well, it's good if they're traveling, you know, if kids are traveling, it's nice to kind of give a peace of mind.
So something related to location sharing is your timer. Google by default keeps track. If you give it permission, you know, every app asks for certain permissions. If you give it permission, it will track on a regular basis where you are. And you can review this. So today, I haven't moved very much, but let's look at a day when we flew to Germany. Yeah, you see the flight link. It's a straight line. It didn't follow the exact path of the plane. I go to the next day. Let's put this a little lower. And here we are in Munich, and we're going downtown to the hotel and I'm walking around town. The next day we drive to the place where we don't have, etc. So all of this, I didn't have to say anything. I didn't have to store anything. It's there. And you can recall. Again, our famous father, my famous father-in-law, when I introduced him to this, he was over the moon because when they travel, he likes to document everything.
And we even got the year view where you could see if all the comments.
Oh, he loved that feature.
So
Okay.
when you travel, he kind of watches you.
Yeah, we wanted to, yeah,
Oh,
he enjoys it. But he does it for
With
himself.
that feature, do you have to turn it on to get it? Because mine's showing up no visits anywhere. And I have-
Maybe you declined that it does not get data in the background.
Okay, so you need to.
You need to allow
Just
that.
set it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think there's a location sharing setting you have to turn on, and then there's a.
Right.
Something else.
Background refresh.
Background refresh
From
for
the-
apps, and people, you know, on the news are telling you, you don't want apps to be tracking you with stuff in the background. If you turn on that background refresh thing off, they're a lot less likely to get at your data, and that would prevent this.
And that's in settings.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I have it turned off. That's
Well, that was the first bullet with its sub-bullets. So now we're still staying in the Google universe. We're going to look at travel. That is a browser that is not. Let's go. So if you go to travel.google.com, you come to the site. There are other sites like this, commercial sites, Expedia, Travelocity, whatever else. So Google is in that space as well. And without you having to do anything, they keep track of what you do by looking at your email. So here is a trip from Toronto to Stockholm.
that's fine.
That's it, exactly. She's going to go and visit with some girlfriends in September. I didn't load this. It knows who I am. It looks at my email, and one of the emails that wasn't there, Heather was forwarding the confirmation email from the airline. That was enough for Google to know, okay, someone's traveling, and I can go into the details to look at who's traveling, how much it was, and what. Not so interesting. Similar down here, we've got to have visitors from Germany come, and they sent me their itinerary. I picked it up, put it in there. Well, what we use it mostly for is the flights. You can also go to flights.google.com direct. I guess you've seen these kind of sites before. Google they don't sell you the airline tickets. They're just the broker. They get the information from all the airlines, and then they help you find the best deal. So let's go from Toronto to Munich. There we go. Well, I can tell it how many stops. I hate stopover in particular at the moment.
Yeah. Airports the way they are, no.
I need to give it some idea of when I want to travel. So let's do this in August. And when I click my first date, I don't know if you can see this. It comes with prices. So in a very intuitive way, I can say, well, this is not a good time. Let's go and fly on the 13th rather than the 10th. We're going to save $1,400 there. And then when you've made your selection that way, it down here gives you the options. I had asked for 2, I think. That's why it's so expensive. It shouldn't be so expensive. Then when you pick your flights, I'm just picking to and from flights. So this is my itinerary. This would be the cost. Now, if I were to click on book, it will direct me to the actual airline or whoever is offering that flight at that price. Google does not do the transaction. They hand that over. Google gets their pay by knowing about it, and then selling this information to the advertiser. So the advertiser comes and says, I want to target travelers to Germany, and they could have that information, they could sell us as a target for those commercials. Also very handy is track prices. So if I enable this, it will send me an email if there's a price change. So I may not have been ready to buy the ticket. Want to keep an eye on it. Here it would do with any significant price change. I would get an email saying it's changed. Went up or it went down.
I use that for my Stockholm trip. When I first picked my dates, it was like, I don't know, to $2,000. I said, I don't think I'm gonna do a weekend trip with the girls for that price, but I put it on the track. It went down about 2 weeks later to 800. So I took it. Then it sent me an email telling me, oh, I thought, oh, the price is coming down. I can wait. If the price is going up, I would have to make the call. So I thought this was fantastic. Got me onto this, and I'm a climber.
Yeah.
So where is it again? Price history.
It's for two. It kept my preference. This-
I said my own.
oh, okay. Just for one, yeah.
One person paid $3,600.
That's,
I paid $1,000 5 years ago.
yeah, well, fuel is a little more expensive these days.
I
That's
guess.
one reason.
But the interesting thing is 2 people is over 10,000.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
More than double.
Yeah. Here,
Anyway,
in that summary, you also see a little pull down on price history. So you don't have to wait for the email. No, or pick the bad trip then. But you would see a graph that shows the history of the last month or so, where this particular flight would travel. All right. Well, I went through the booking, right? And I needed to tell it when and which flights I accepted. It doesn't track the universe, right? Only a specific flight.
And then you choose prices, and then you get this.
I don't see what it all is from here, but
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
you really want to get away, don't you?
We're going next.
On May the 5th. I just booked it. I just. Well, that's only one first.
All right.
Another feature of Google Flights, if you just put in your home airport, YYZ, choose Pearson, and no destination, just go down to the map and choose, say, North America, and you see all the flights that are the cheapest where we want to go. Nashville, you can typically fly there. They probably give you $10. But you can see all the flights. If you just say, I want to get away, where's the place to go? That's often a good way to inspire
To get away.
a lot more.
Don, you heard that? If you want to get away. Anywhere.
I just looked at it.
You go to Google
You're right.
Flights,
That's good.
choose Pearson as your airport.
No destination.
No destination, just click on the map and start zooming in to where you want to go. See, it'll show you the lowest prices from Toronto to Denver or Nashville.
Miami, 486.
Okay, Miami's the winner.
Orlando was even cheaper.
Marianne just got the same trip as I have. That person's 15,000.
Well, she goes first class.
Well, I'm getting ridiculously high prices.
This is interesting. The first trip is $810. But if I switch airlines, I pay another $18 and there's 22% less emissions.
Emissions.
Emissions, environmental, yeah. The $810 And his average emissions.
So then there's maybe a difference between a non-stop and a stop one. If you fly along, but
Well, these drift.
no.
Oh, sorry, one stop, the other stop.
All right.
That's saying emissions, you want with any emissions or one with no?
Well, any emissions is a bit hard at the moment to fly.
Yes.
They're coming up with electric flights.
Air France has 23% less emissions than Air Canada. Yeah, $1 difference, nonstop.
All right, so now that we're traveling, let's go to the next bullet and let's translate. It's a really cool piece of software. Let me go and find it. So it's an app. Here I've selected two languages, French and English.
So this is an app that you
It's an
bought.
app. No, it's free to download. You don't buy it.
Google Translate.
Google Translate. There is a version on the web, translate.google.com, but it's somewhat limited. And okay, so the simple one is, doesn't do the apostrophe so easily. So I've typed in something and it translates. That's still boring. So let's do something more interesting. Where are we here? Get out of the way. Transcribe. J'ai faim. C'est jeudi aujourd'hui. C'est pas vrai. Okay, so you get your whole. If you are on the streets in Paris, you don't speak French, and you need directions. You set this up and you hold it to a person to give you instructions, and then you read the translation of what the person says. Okay. Yeah, you can do this also as a conversation. So rather than just guessing, here I've got a French thing and an English one, and it's trying to catch up with what I'm saying, and it has a hard time. So let's say something in French. No, voilà. Okay, I didn't take it. I did not understand. So it also speaks it up. So here the idea is you can supposedly have a conversation with someone even if you each other don't understand the other's language.
And how did you get to that? I'm on translate.google.ca.
You need to download the app. So.
It doesn't work on the web.
Oh, okay.
But the most interesting thing is the option with camera. And let me see. Here I have a French book. And I'll just hold it up. Did you see how it changed from identité to identity? Okay, that's just one word. That's boring. Let's open up an entire page. Okay, and I arrest it. And now, since I'm lazy, I can't even listen to it.
One hotel in a small town by the northern seaside.
This was great for menus. My daughter used it in Germany all the time. She took a picture of the menus and she could quit asking Martin for that translation.
Honestly, I wouldn't know fish variety. You know, I know the English word, I know the German word, but I don't know how they match. So I can't translate them. So how do you fish variety?
Oh, it's a camera option.
Right. So if you have the app open,
I got the app.
okay. So,
And you literally take a picture like
yeah, you use your camera.
you usually
Yeah.
take a picture and overwrites it.
When you push that camera,
Correct. I'm pushing it now, and here's my camera. But it's already pre-programmed to do a particular direction of translation. And then I just hold it over the page, and in a second you see it change from French to English. It's not perfect, of course, but when I was reading this, there were passages I didn't quite get, and rather than word for word looking up in a dictionary, I hold this thing over it and think, oh, this makes sense. So it speeds up the whole process.
What's some of it? What?
It's very related. Maybe I'll get to it later, but since we're here, Google Photos uses the same engine for this. Let me look for, no, not really. Let's move it for, it's any basic picture.
Is this another app development?
Google Photos is, yes.
I have a question, Mark.
Cool.
With regard to Google Photos, you can process two things at once. When I do banking transactions, so send my son some money or something like that, I often take a screen grab of it, goes into my photos, goes up to Google Photos. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I said to myself,
It's not a good
I
idea.
just
Yeah.
put all my banking information, how much money there is, how much I transferred, the date and everything. It's out there sitting on a server floating in San Francisco Bay. And who's got access to it? So my question is, I haven't really taken the time to do it, but it's on my list. I've got to find a way to isolate all those so I can blow them away. Do you have a fast way of identifying?
Some of you have heard my spiel on banking. For banking, use one dedicated computer that does nothing other than your banking. Does not do email. You don't browse the internet. You just do your banking. Then you don't get into this problem. Then you don't click on a link in an email that has the attacker on the machine. So that would be the safest. And no,
But the horse is out of the barn. I'd like to be able to corral it and blow it away. Any way to, in Google Photos, to
mask delete.
isolate all those that, so I can delete?
I've never done it. So you can extract all of this.
Because you can take my face and find all the photos of me and array of 10,000 photos. There's got to be some way to do it for a very similar image that my bank uses when I make a transaction.
I found yesterday, I was trying to remember Google Photos because it kept telling me that I was running out of space. And there is a place where it's almost like a vault where you can put things that you don't want to be out in public into that kind of vault. And then it's private. So it wasn't the Google.
I'll look for something.
So one thing to try. Oh, I'm not on the share. What's going on?
I didn't want to take this in a direction you didn't want to go.
It's
with. That
perfectly
was
fine.
related, but
Try Google search. In the photo app, Google Photos, there's a search ability. It's quite smart. You can search for a yellow dress and you will find everything.
or do you search by an image?
Or document or numbers, maybe it will find it.
Yeah, find numbers. Look for numbers or
Okay.
some word that give you at least the chunk of something.
Okay, good idea. Thanks.
I have my photos, my photo. Now I went to Google Photos because I got that. It wants me to download all my photos onto it. Well, now I'll have double.
You would, yeah. So you guys use the Apple ecosystem, iCloud. You backing your photos up to iCloud, right? That would add complexity. So when I talk about the Google stuff, I'm not the sales guy. I'm not the one trying to drop whatever you're doing and use the Google universe. You already have a working system. So
Are you gonna be reviewing the photos? 'Cause that's what I need to do.
a little bit,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I was just looking at Google Photos app, and a lot of my photos are in there, even though they're also in the Apple app, and I've never tried to put them in, like the ones I took this morning. They're all in there. It's weird.
But then you have set up Google Photos as to give, you have given it the right to access.
I presume I must have done
At some
something,
point
I don't
you
know
will
what
go.
I did,
You clicked
But-
OK.
yeah.
Just
As we
wanna-
do.
Yeah.
Realize later, guilty.
Well, I've got them all, I can't believe it. There's all of it.
I don't understand, I didn't want to share Google Photos. here.
It's not
Okay.
sharing your photo app.
You see me here, on
Okay.
in,
Can you click on the photos?
Google Photos, this looks quite different. So I don't know what's going on with yours. Okay, we'll deal with this.
Can you do it on the laptop?
So, who knows, maybe it resets it. So we've done the translate. I hope you like that one. That is
Yeah.
a
That's very cool.
The next one, the last one on the left side, what it is called Keep. That's a note-taking app. There's lots of them out there. Evernote and whatnot, or Microsoft's OneNote. This one is we use it. It has several nice features, and the biggest one is we've got it in the top left. Our shopping list, and you see Heather's little icon in there. We share this. So quite often one of us goes shopping and out the door says, put on the list what I should buy. Right? So then we'll put it on, and when we get to the shop, we've got the list that we jointly worked on. And then let's say, okay, we'll take this out. It's an app. It's called Google Keep. KW.
I have Keep Google,
What?
is that the same one?
Maybe.
Yes, see, I usually use notes.
I do too.
Yeah, and again, there's so many ways to do the same thing, right?
But it doesn't share. We used to send me a text or something. And I'll put it on.
You would have to.
No, this is next, yeah, we're sharing it and it's live and we've had multiple people putting in shopping requests,
That's
like
right.
kids,
Yeah.
us, someone shopping.
Christmas lists. and
All
stuff.
right, yeah.
Okay, so you have to sign into it.
Yes, you do. Oh,
So this is where the kids think that there's no stores where they live and you have to do all the shopping. Like when my son was downtown Toronto with UT,
Sticky that I find.
and he used to shop, he used to come up to Farm Hill to do his groceries in my refrigerator. Like I said, there's no grocery store downtown Toronto, you have to come to my refrigerator or
yeah.
my cabinets. Of course.
Yeah, so to create a new one, so shopping list is only one. If you click on the plus to create a new note, it can be regular text, but this little plus here gives you some other interesting options. And the one I use a lot is to take photos. I need to have a serial number of something, and just grab it, stick it in there. So I've got the photo now secured. If there's text, it could even extract the text automatically. I give it some, okay, not a very clever title.
And take a photo of the pillar where your car is parked at the airport.
Do it, absolutely.
Right.
That's what I do every time. Yeah, very nice thing. So there's lots of times I'm around the house. I always, or mostly have my phone with me. So rather than take notes, and just snap a picture and store it, and then you never have to delete it. It doesn't seem to take up much space. It's as usual keywords.
You must be able to delete stuff.
Yeah, you can absolutely.
You can also pin it, so it goes to.
So Ferris is the manufacturer of my lawnmower. So I've obviously had to do something with the battery. So I took a picture of the battery, but it found it, right? I didn't have to take long to use the search to find what I was looking for.
So if you go by your SAE oil, you can then delete that, so it's not on your listing.
This is information, right? I will always need this, but I would have then put this into a shopping list and say buy that particular oil for.
So when I take pictures of wine labels.
Uh-huh.
I like them. I can put it in there.
Absolutely. you
Then
can-
you buy the wine based on previous label.
No, I never can remember names as well as I can. The label.
Actually,
Yeah.
what
That's
you,
right.
Yeah, oh, the ones.
what you should probably do is turn the bottle around. Because on the back side, it should have a QR code.
Oh,
And then you scan that with your camera app.
Yeah.
And then you've got all the information about that wine. You don't have to type anything, it's right there. And you can typically, maybe I need to get a bottle to do the demo. It links you to a website, and before you know it, you can order it. And then, well, I don't know. Are they allowed to ship alcohol in Ontario? I've never tried.
Oh, yeah. So especially if you have a wine drink,
Okay,
they ship it.
okay.
You're doing a bike tour, you can't carry it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be QR. So if here's the camera. Come on. It should give me a yellow border.
I saw it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work. No, it should tell me what it is. So my attempt failed miserably.
Never demo something you haven't tried.
That's right. It's a bad.
Just full of marketing.
But that, you can reference that, tie that with the LCBO. Or whatever.
True.
But if it was a QR code, you like could get the
Yeah,
info you're looking for.
Right.
That's like your link to the LCBO.
Maybe the camera doesn't do barcodes, it only does QR codes. So I could download a QR reader. And then
There is an app called Rubina.
I just gotta say that I got it.
Yeah,
And you
put
can
it
take
on
a
the
picture.
thing.
Oh,
It'll pop up, tell you what the price is, you know, rated.
all right.
Well, that's something I couldn't get it to do.
Martha, how did you share that list again? Because I had the list, but I don't know.
Something happened.
So, okay, let's find out where is this.
Oh, I guess it's.
Collaborators. Bottom right, there was
It was
the three dots.
Oh, it doesn't.
Got making copies.
Well, why am I not?
And then when I click on collaborators, then
So
it,
I can add another email address.
so here I can add header to
I mean, what's the?
we always wanted to share this one, right?
No. You have three.
Oh, I don't have the three dots.
Yeah, I had three dots.
I don't.
No.
Settings.
All right, so that was Google Keep. Photos, okay, a few things in the Google Photos app. Let me go back to library. That is the wrong account. Oh, so here, you and I will all know what this is, but let's see if Google knows. Oh, darn, on this thing, I don't know why it doesn't show thing. On my phone, there is this icon. When I click on this, this guy doesn't show anything. That's too weird.
What is it called?
In the Google Photos app,
Okay.
and this is the Google Lens feature. Let me see if I close the app completely from my phone. Still the same problem. It shows me the picture very nicely, but not what's on the screen. So the idea is it goes and looks at all of the stuff in the photo and see if you can recognize it. We can, and it does recognize it, and it gives me the correct answer that it's a problem. So I, for example, go through that tree. I wanted to find out what type of tree. So I went to one of the remaining leaves, I took a picture, clicked on this icon, and it told me it's an elm tree. That's right. Or your favorite mustard. Garlic mustard.
I have a picture I brought up here, and it's just a picture of our backyard and campfire. It's like like around inflatable or portable garage, the chair and all. So I hit on that, it tells me the entire. Like it's hilarious. It's identified all these things. Press on that, and it tells you, okay, you get that at is this the price? Well, and the fire, it's matching up with the fire, it's awesome.
I got that on my. I guess I'm not getting it.
Oh, I see this.
And it'll start to that.
Well, sorry, I can't continue the demo on Google Photos because it doesn't show the menu structure. What wanted to show is you can do, maybe get closer. There is some rudimentary editing that you can do. You can crop, you can change the color balances. You have some presets to filter. So it's useful, in particular the cropping part.
So if you give Google access to your camera, then it's going to download thousands of pictures.
So you need to set that up. It doesn't do it automatically.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I can't show you, but there is a review your or backup settings. You have to tell Google Photos to make the backups to your Google account. It doesn't do it automatically on an iPhone. On an iPhone, I think it automatically tries to back up everything to a cloud.
Right.
But by default, that has just 5 gigabytes. And if you add your operating system backup and the photo, before you know it, it's full and it doesn't do anything. And then it wants money.
Yep.
So.
Exactly.
So Google Photos, you don't have that.
No, you do. It's just a little more generous. So I think a normal user account gives you 15 gigabytes. I've then purchased another 100 gigabytes for something like $25 a year. So this will not have to worry about.
Well, the Google iCloud, we do, but it's $1.46 a month.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, sorry, this cuts the photos a little short.
Could you do it from the laptop or is it?
Well, the setup, we couldn't do it, the syncing, right? This is the camera, and we want the camera to come home into Wi-Fi and then send the pictures to the cloud. And you can't do that on the desktop or laptop. Well, Gmail, are you aware you can have multiple Gmail accounts that you monitor at the same time? So if I open up my Gmail, or click here, so there's at the moment 3 accounts. Mine, a joint one that I have with Heather, and then the Beaver Valley Photos email. I don't have to go through 3 different places. Everything comes into my joint here, when all inboxes comes into one place, and I can work with this as if it goes forward.
So does it put it in the accounts or you put it in?
No, it stays in those accounts. It just puts it into one page. It just combines it, so you don't have to go and log in into different places. It may not be something you need, I don't know, if you have multiple accounts to work with.
Isn't it a huge thing to change? Going, I'm on sabbatical.
Mhm.
To change, it seems like to change my email address.
So technically, it's trivial to create a Gmail account, but it takes years before you found all of the places that have your old email address as the one that they send stuff to. The bank sends maybe one yearly statement, right? And then, so basically, you never lose. You should never lose the old account. Favorite, your father, he had to leave a provider, and he no longer had access to the email account that that provider offered. That was major difficulty for years because banks, insurance companies, government agency, everybody and their dog knew the old one, and there was no forwarding, no recovery from. If you are, if you still have access to it, absolutely, this is one, right? It doesn't have to be 3 Google accounts. I just happen to have 3 Google accounts. But you can combine multiple email addresses into one.
I have a similar account for my Gmail, except I use .me instead of .com, and that's Apple's free email. And I use that if I'm signing up for advertisement from Marksville Warehouse or Michael's or places like that. And that way I kind of filter where I'm getting advertising from, who's passing my email on to another part. Having multiple email accounts can be very beneficial, and then you can set it up so that, like, having 6 email addresses physical in town, but hiring somebody to go collect all your mail for you to 5 minutes.
But if you want a new email, you want to get it used again, you just start sending from the Gmail account, that's your new one, and people tend to respond to that, so you're gonna get 90% of your friends really quickly. But if you set forward on the simpatico, let's say you'll catch that, oh yeah, that insurance company had that, I better go tell them to use Gmail from now on. So the forward can forward from the old mail to the new one, and you catch it, and then you tell them, hey.
But they'll only do that for 6 months of time
Yeah.
before.
We did that, we were
Yeah.
at Rogers.com and we switched to Google, to Gmail, and we had, I don't know, 30 or 60 days to have it, all the emails forwarded. And that, yeah, and I still have those emails. Like the old one are still in my Google.
They send some product over, they don't allow it. I'm afraid they're gonna stop. She's like,
They won't open municipal.
yeah.
Oh,
It's also good.
Well, I don't know how you guys operate. You see, this is my inbox. It only has 3 items. I look at Heather's
Oh, I
inbox.
hate this. Everything's cleaned up. If he reads it, he's done something.
What-
It's not there anymore.
So annoying.
It is annoying. That's what we don't share mail.
And I bet you never hear about it.
So here's a trick. If there is one that you know you need to be dealing with later, rather than just having it fill up your inbox, you snooze it. So up here, you see the option snooze.
How did you get there?
Yeah.
Go right there. The top 3 dots will fall off. And then it's the very first option, snooze. And then it gives you some defaults, later today, tomorrow, or you can set a particular. So next week, and it's gone from my inbox. It's not really gone. If I click the selector, there is the section for snooze. Okay, then you see a couple of them that are snoozed in there, waiting to be woken up and moved into the inbox on the day that I want to do.
So at that time, it will reappear.
Correct.
And is that a specific picture of Gmail?
I haven't seen it. Maybe Microsoft Outlook doesn't too. I haven't used it in a long time.
I have no 3 dots.
You need to have the Gmail app, not the mail app using Gmail.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I have no.
But you
It's a
only have,
confusing world out there, Mary.
you only have Gmail app, yep, Gmail account, like a Gmail email
I
address.
don't know, you might be able to use the Gmail app for other accounts that are not used. I don't know.
Okay, I see the difference. I'll just keep kidding.
And okay, the last one. What I just, the snoozing just puts it away and gives you, it pops back up, but you can also, it's not a whole lot different, add it to tasks. So Google ecosystem has something called tasks. If I add it to it, then you can see this would not be the only task I have. So I've put myself a whole bunch of tasks on that will show up with pop-ups when it's time to deal with it. I don't necessarily have an email. The home insurance needs to be paid at a certain time. I need to have enough funds in the account. So I put myself a task on this particular date. Date will pop up and says, hey, make sure, and then I can take care of it.
And it pops up.
It would show up through the interface. You can manage the tasks through that interface. There is, of course, an app for it. So it's called Google Tasks. It's just a way how these two applications work together. You can set a task like this. Very important reminder about some Zoom account.
Is Google Tasks only if you have Gmail and you're using Tasks?
I suspect you can use Tasks on its own without Gmail. Yes, sorry, not without an account, but without using Gmail, the mail part of the Google ecosystem.
Oh, sticky notes.
Yeah. You might be seeing the monitor there. All right. I think that's all I have for today.
It's a lot of food for thought.
I hope so.